Hello and welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Since it is winter, I think it is the perfect season for pecan pie. I know many of you guys celebrate Thanksgiving. We don't do that. Still, I never refuse a treat. So let's go. I hope the recipe that I found for this today in the internet is legit. We will see. I will of course link it down below. First, I start with the crust. I start mixing 155 grams of all-purpose flour with 3 grams of salt. Then I mix in 45 grams of butter and 80 grams of vegetable shortening. I had to Google what that is, and it's basically just a plant-based fat that is solid by room temperature, and I choose coconut oil for that. Both of these ingredients were in the freezer for a little while, so they are really firm. So make sure your butter is already in small pieces. You can freeze your butter as a whole piece and grate or cut it into small pieces after the freezer. I prefer to do it right away before, so it's easier to cut. I put both in the bowl with the flour, very hard coconut oil.
Foreshadowing.
I will mix this now till it is crumbly. This time I will use the mixer and not do it by hand so it stays colder than my last attempt on crust. Oh god, oh god, oh god, why? Yeah, let's go. As soon as your butter turned crumbly, I will add 60 grams of water spoon by spoon. Maybe we won't even need all of it, so be careful with that and don't overmix. I simply put some very cold water into the freezer while I was mixing the butter. And with that I already came across the first problem. Since this recipe tells me to use a plant oil that is firm at room temperature, and it is even colder now because they said put it in the freezer, and that makes it even harder, the oil didn't dissolve in my butter. So now I have butter with chunks of that vegetable oil in it. Usually I use a liquid vegetable oil in this kind of crust, so now I know why. Seems like I have to work with it that way now, since it also says do not overmix, so I'm a little bit lost here. But let's move on to the next step. I'm just doing what's told, you know, I'm just a tool here. For the next step, the recipe tells me to form a disc out of the ball and put it in the fridge for 2 hours or into the freezer for a half hour. That won't help my vegetable oil situation. I will follow the recipe. Do I already sound cranky? Maybe a little. Anywho. You see that? Look at all of this veggie oil in here. If this is something that you made before, I would like to know how you do it. Do you use another kind of veggie oil that is firm by room temperature? Or do you not use that at all? I would be interested to hear that. Okay, so I made a disc with clean hands, of course. It doesn't even feel that cold anymore, so I don't know why it's still so firm. Well, in the freezer it goes. In the meantime, I already prepared the other ingredients that we will need now for the filling of the pie. Before I put them together though, I will get the crust out of the freezer because I have a very bad feeling about that. Maybe I will need to make a new one without the veggie oil or make that smaller before I add it, I don't know, but let's check on it. In the recipe they recommend to roll out the crust dough directly on a piece of parchment paper so it will be easier to transfer into the pie baking pan. So we will do that. I really don't have a good feeling. So first I start making a ball out of this. Put it on that parchment paper. Oh, also add some flour on it. Uh-oh. Well, it's good that I have more sugar, I guess. Oh no, I also cracked an egg. Jesus Christ. I swear usually I'm an okay baker. It's just when the cameras are on, I'm just, I don't know, I lose it. I just lose it. That was quite something. So, I have some flour on my parchment. I'll take the dough, put that on top and roll it out. Always from the middle to the sides. If your parchment paper is sliding around too much, you can also put a wet kitchen towel underneath I made this pie one time before with another recipe and it turned out great. We will see how it goes today. Oh my god. I don't know what is wrong with me. The problem with this hard pieces of vegetable oil is now that as soon as the oven will heat that up, they will resolve in nothingness. So I will have holes in my pie. This is... I will get that out. No, I refuse. The big ones I will get out. But this is unacceptable.
Unacceptable condition!
But the dough feels good without that pieces in there. Let's roll it out again. I think that is big enough. While the dough was in the freezer, I already went ahead and buttered my pan around 9 inches. The dough still feels cold, so that's good, I guess. At least the transfer was going fine. We have that amount less of oil in it now, but I don't care anymore. I just don't care. I will push that a little bit in. Whatever is lapping over, I cut off or I pull off and add it at spots where something is missing. Maybe it's still tasty in the end. I hope so. Good enough. I put the crust in the fridge till I'm done with the filling, and I also turned on the oven to 220 degrees Celsius to preheat. Filling time. I start mixing together 200 grams of sugar, 40 grams of brown sugar, 3 grams of salt, 240 milliliters of corn syrup, and 75 grams of salted butter, they say. I simply added a little bit more salt because I don't have salted butter, and it should be melted or at least warm. I mix this together. And then add 3 eggs and a little bit of vanilla extract. I like to use vanilla paste. And now I can add my pecan nuts. You use 150 grams of them. They are a little bit dusty now because of my flour incident, but I swear it's normal pecan nuts. And you can go ahead and save some of them that look especially nice to put on top. And I simply mix that in per hand. The recipe tells me to pour that into the crust now, then arrange the nice nuts that I sorted out for the top on top of it, and then put some of the filling on top of them again. So I think the best I could do now is get a little bit filling out. Also, I think it would probably be good if I covered them not with a spoon in the filling, but simply put them in here and see if they get covered with that amount that I put aside. Yeah. Assembling time, I would say. I have the nice cold crust out of the fridge. This is separating so badly, oh my goodness. That's quite much. Let's assemble the nuts on top. Will they drown? Maybe? Last time I made this looked very different. The ratio between nuts and filling was different. But also I only made it one time, so who am I to judge? I mean, it doesn't look too bad, I guess. Now this goes into the oven at 220 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Then I will lower the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius and let it bake for another 50 minutes. After half of the time I will check on it how it looks and cover it with a little bit of aluminium foil so it doesn't burn at the top. When you finally get it out and you give it a gentle shake, it shouldn't be too wobbly in the middle. If so, then let it bake another 5 to 10 minutes. And here we have the finished cake. For me, it only took the 50 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius to make it bake completely. I didn't need to add extra baking time. Nothing was jiggly anymore. So here we have it. He looks like he's been through some things, I admit, but let's try it. I think that looks quite decent. There was some of the filling going under the dough, as it seems. That's probably because of the coconut oil that melted, and then there were holes in the dough and then stuff happened, right? I taste the coconut. I kinda can't stop eating. It's good. This tastes really good. The pecan pie that I made before tasted the same, just looked better. I think I would probably make another crust recipe. The filling is great though. I really like the taste of the filling, and the consistency is also fine. Just the crust could be different. Maybe just with another vegetable oil. I mean, that was not exactly in the recipe the way I did it, so maybe it's my fault. I don't know, maybe you have some hints for me what I can do different next time. But that's it for today's video. Would I do this again? Yes! This is really tasty. If you have never tried pecan pie before, you should totally do that. I hope you enjoyed watching. If so, please remember to leave a like and a subscription if you didn't already do that. And maybe now you're up for more videos, maybe of me baking, or maybe some crafts and arts. Then check out the other videos that are already uploaded. Otherwise, maybe I see you next week in the next video. Take care and goodbye. Hade på badet den gamle chokolade.